Ignitarium, we have kind of ridden on this newfound awareness or popularity. And when I say newfound, it's probably about 5 years old. And we have deployed our AI solutions in various industries. I mean, ranging from automotive to industrial to infrastructure to medical. But these 4 industries, we are very, very heavily involved in deploying AI. I'll give you a couple of practical examples. I mean, we have deployed our AI platform, which we call a Staikai, to enable automated inspection of rail tracks in North America. What used to be an extremely manual process where gangs of people would walk along a rail track is heavily automated by the use of sensor-based data, specifically 2D, 3D cameras, which acquires the data of the track, and our algorithms are the ones that are doing anomaly detection. It could be detection of defects on the sleepers, the joints, or the plates, or the components that constitutes a rail track. Another example would be in Europe, our software. In fact, it's the same software platform. We have deployed that to detect defects on wind turbine blades. And there are tens and thousands of these blades or turbines in Europe and in the rest of the world. So we detect very critical events like lightning strikes, what is called as leading edge erosion, cracks, peels, and tens of other categories of defects, which could either result in catastrophic failure of these turbines or significantly reduced or impaired performance. So suffice to say that AI is real, AI is here, AI is creating an impact today, and we at Ignitarium, we've been extremely fortunate to be able to be part of this journey.
I'm really mesmerized after hearing these use cases. So I never thought that on wind turbines also we can put our DeepTech solutions. So I think that is what the beauty of this sector is. It can be applied to any vertical, any area, and we can just increase the operational efficiency of this of the product.
You touched about a few things: talent, funding, access, etc. I mean, let's talk about the funding part of it. Fortunately, we've been bootstrapped and we've been revenue generating from very, very early days of our life. In fact, from year 2 onwards. So that really has not been a challenge for us at all. The talent part is a very interesting question. If you look at India, there is plenty of talent available in India, partly because it is considered to be hot, growing, and extremely remunerative. So if you look at com science folks, if you look at even a class at random, you would find that almost 90% of the students would be doing their final year projects on something to do with analytics. Even a slightly adjacent stream like electronics and communication, even in their case, you would find 50% of the students would be doing something to do with AI and analytics. So the visibility is so high that there are loads of people who are extremely keen on taking this up as a career. On top of this is the fact that 80% of AI, at least in our experience, you really do not need first principle deep math knowledge. It is about data handling, data wrangling, model identification, model tuning, hyperparameter tuning, application development, and then deployment of a pipeline. The remaining 20% is where the struggle is. Let's say you need a person who has to develop, say, a extremely new or a custom model, which kind of goes away from the tenets of an open source model that is out there. Then, of course, you need people with deep math background. Even in those cases, our experience has been you don't need a team full of PhDs even to address the 20% of the work. Fortunately, we've had this right mix of people right from day one of our existence. And we've been quite comfortable in not just developing extremely interesting AI algorithms and models, but also to scale that. In fact, our AI team is about 150 people even as we speak. And then because we are reasonably established now and a little bit of a brand, it's not that hard to attract talent is what I feel. And then as these engineers who come into the system turn up, we have some very, very good internal training programs. I think we have a 3-month training program for AI where people are taken through all the paces that are relevant to what we specifically do, which is largely computer vision and audio and other forms of data analytics. So might sound counterintuitive, but talent has never been a problem for us when it comes to AI. Go develop the guts of your tech, get it to some basic level. Do POCs, but then, and we've done this as well. We've done loads of POCs, but then, if possible, don't get led on the so-called rabbit hole of endless rounds of especially free POCs. And this is something that happens very often in the India ecosystem. Not that it doesn't happen elsewhere, but it is very common in India.
Okay. You just want to interrupt. How to pitch for the POC? That is always question I get it from the founders. How to pitch to get that POC from the corporate?
Right. So there are no magic bullets for this. Many forums will have to be used. For example, you talked about the innovation hubs that are there as part of individual state bodies or the innovation arms of various MNCs and including many of the big conglomerates of India. So there are many startup programs out there, not necessarily to get funding, but just to get an audience. And behind it, there would be quite a few interested parties who might be keen on adopting the technology if it is interesting. And as quickly as possible, try to find a lead customer, specifically if you are into AI. And as Changa said earlier, the importance of data is not to be underestimated. So find the particular lead customer who has got the appropriate data with which you can solve something of relevance to him. And then along the way, identify a key need. It need not be like 20 different problems, maybe one problem, two problems. That is a burning problem for this particular lead customer. Define that as a feature, release it, iterate, solve that particular problem and really well for that particular customer. And then once you get a little bit of success, double down, narrow down, go deep, whatever term you would like to use. And then try to be really good at what you do or what is your core. In fact, I'll probably give you an example from Ignitarium's world. We do audio and video AI on what we call as power-constrained devices, or what the industry calls as the tiny ML class of problems. This is the complete opposite of running workloads on big giant machines on the cloud. These are tiny machines, but you still need to run very complex audio-video workloads on them. So double down on problems like these, if that is your chosen area. So we become really good at it. In fact, even though if I say this myself, we're extremely good at this tiny ML class of problems because we have an extremely good understanding of the underlying hardware, in addition to the classical deep learning models and the AI ML thing that everybody talks about. So in summary, on this point, once you double down, go deep in your chosen area and be really good at it. Along the way, choose your partnerships judiciously. Again, using our example, we have very strong partnerships with the leaders in some of these AI accelerator devices like NVIDIA, ARM, Renesas, TI, Lattice, and so on. And try to get their attention. Be somebody whose tech is good enough that they would give you time of day, simply because they think it might be worth their time. So you put all these things together, and my observation has been there are enough and more problems, as we started off this discussion with. As part of this digital transformation journey that a lot of people are doing, there are enough and more problems out there that needs solving. So if you've got decent tech and reasonably good business positioning, I strongly believe that the world will kind of conspire to let you find your space and be successful in it.